Hey everybody, Veena Jetti here. If you're in my Facebook group, Mastering Multifamily with Veena Jetti, then you see that I post math questions every now and then to help you guys get better and fine tune your skills. And so today I want to go over the third question that we posted for multifamily math. Now remember guys, it's not as important that you get this right as it is that you just do it and you just try it. Even if you keep getting it wrong, it's okay. The point is, you're exercising a muscle, and this takes time and it takes practicing that skill over and over and over to get really good at it. So make sure that even if you don't really know what it is, take a stab at it, guess, try to figure out what the answer is, because going through that thought process and then coming back, watching these videos, seeing how to get to the right answer is what's really going to help you guys. So I'm going to share with you guys what the question was. This is like my fourth time recording it because I could not figure out how to share the screen. So give me 1 second. Excuse me, I'm still getting over being a little sick. Okay, so here's the question for multifamily math question number 3. You're talking to a broker and you tell them you want to buy a Class A asset in Dallas, Texas, and you're looking to purchase it for anywhere from $10 to $12 million. And the broker says, hey, I have a listing and it has a whisper of only 10 to 15% above your buy criteria. Everything else fits the buy criteria. But the whisper is non-negotiable for the first LOI to get into the best and final round or the B&F round. What's the minimum purchase price you would put in the LOI? What I absolutely love about these questions is every time I post this, I post it thinking like, okay, everybody's going to say like the answer is 5 or whatever a static number is. And then every time you guys surprise me by just being so creative and thoughtful in your approach to this, that I get so many different answers here. So I have a lot of you that did answer the question and, work out the math, showed your work. Great job. If you got it wrong and you showed your work, at least we can help steer you about where you went wrong. So it's really important that you show that work. And I had someone that said, I think this is a trick question. Like maybe I was tricking them because it's outside of the buy box. You shouldn't submit the LOI, which is really creative. I had some people that said, I don't really know what a whisper price means at all, which great. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn that. I had someone say, I would go right in the middle of each number. And, I even had someone that said for Class A with expected competition and given it would still cash flow, it might be worthwhile to offer 14.4 million for a 20% above asking price, which I thought was really creative and really thoughtful about how you're looking at not just the numbers, but also what the strategy of acquiring multifamily is. So I'm going to share with you my screen and we're going to go through this together. All right. Okay, so question number 3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write down the things we know, right? 10 million to 12 million is what we said we were going to buy it for. The whisper, the broker says, is plus another 10 to 15%. So we need to figure out a few numbers here before we can decide what we're going to do in the LOI. So let's start with assuming we're going to pay 10 million. We're going to multiply that by 10%, which is the lowest amount it sounds like we might be able to buy this for. So that's going to be equal to $1 million plus the initial 10 million makes this 11 million for whisper price number 1. Okay, what is a whisper price? A whisper price is what it's like industry jargon or lingo. It's basically what the broker is saying they think that the asset is going to actually trade for or sell for. So if a broker says, hey, the whisper is like 10 million or 100 a door or something like that, it means that's just the pricing guidance that they're giving other buyers to be kind of in that range. Because otherwise you might look at an asset and offer $4 million and someone else may look at it and offer $14 million. So it kind of calibrates everybody to kind of that same area or that same metric. So whisper price number 1 is 11 million. Then we have 10 million times 15%, which means we're paying 1.5 million more plus the initial 10 million. And that's going to give us a total of 11.5 million for whisper price number 2, right? But then what if we're more toward the $12 million range? Let's look at that. So times 10%, that means that it's going to be $1.2 million more plus the initial $12 million. So that's going to put us at what? 13.2 million. And that's going to be our third whisper potential. And then we're going to do 12 million times the 15%. Which is going to be equal to 1.8 million plus the initial 12 million. It's going to take us to $13.8 million. So that's going to be the fourth potential whisper price. So now we see potential whisper from 11 million to 13.8 million. That's a big range and we don't know where we fall. So that's where you're going to have to look. The answer really is of what to submit your LOI at is it depends on what your buy criteria is, what your investor return expectations are, because let's say that $11 million on purchase is equal to, let's call it a 5.5% cap rate. And the way you figure out cap rate, in case you guys don't know this yet, is going to be your NOI divided by the market value. In this case, we'll assume 11 million is a market value. That equals your cap rate. Okay, so at a 5.5% cap rate, then we can work backward and we can see what the NOI is to see what the same cap rate is on a $13.8 million offer. So the way to do that is we do 11 million times 0.055 or 5.5%. That means that in this scenario, the NOI is equal to 605,000. So, sorry. Okay. So let's see if we take that same 605,000 and we divide it by 13.8 million. So at 13.8 million, that puts us at a 4.38% cap rate. So we took the same 605 NOI and divided by 13.8 and we got the 4.38% cap rate. So is a 4.38% cap rate on a Class A product in Dallas a good going in cap? Probably, but it depends on how you're going to operate the asset, how much you can reposition it, what value add there is, if any, if it cash flows, if it meets your investor return expectations. The other thing to keep in mind is that on these types of deals, there's usually, so we have what's called, I'm going to make this a little smaller for you guys. Okay, so we have what's called the LOI phase, which is the first offer that we make, right? Then we have B and F, or best and final. So what you might do strategically is you might say, okay, look, we can come in and pay this 13.8 million. Our numbers work for that. So maybe instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer 13.2. And then when the broker says, okay, Veena, that's enough to kind of get closer because we're in that 10% range. Maybe they'll say, hey, come back with the best and final, come back with your best and final offer. So then maybe here I come back at 13.8. And then what happens, there's sometimes like a second best and final round or like a secret best and final round where broker will say, okay, if you can come up another 100K or 200K, the offer is yours. We have two groups, whoever comes up the most, the offer is going to be yours. So maybe I look at it and I say, you know what? Even knowing that this is what they're looking for, I actually can pay 14,100,000. That could be my best top price. Well, then you might go in and you might say, okay, hey, broker, I'm going in with 13.8 million. That's our best and final. But if push comes to shove, come back to me and ask me, because I'm going to keep trying to fine tune my numbers and see where I can squeeze some more money out because I really want this deal. So if it comes down to me and another buyer, come back to me and let me, sharpen the pencil one last time. Let me have like a last bite of the apple, if you will, and I'll do my best. So maybe they come back and they say, hey, you said you could do better. What can you do? And then you might say like, okay, does, 14.05 get me the deal? And they might say, oh no, we have another group higher. Or maybe you come in at 14.1 million. and then you get awarded the deal. So the thing to note here, or the thing to be aware of, is that just because it's your buy box or what the broker says a whisper is, that shouldn't be what drives your decision of where to offer. What really should drive your decision of where to offer is if you offer at any one of these 4 whisper prices, what actually happens when you are looking at the returns to your investor. If you actually can hit returns to your investors at all of these price points, then I would say it's worthwhile paying any of these to win the deal. But let's say at 13.2 million, you're making an offer at 13.2 million, your returns to your investors just break. Well, then that's not really a good opportunity for you, because you're not going to be able to deliver for your investors. So I would look and see, okay, where is the number? I would stress test it or do a sensitivity analysis to see where is the number that my numbers to investors still make sense. And then I would come in under that, knowing that you're going to have an LOI stage, a best and final stage, and possibly a second round of best and final. So hopefully you guys followed along with this, and you guys saw kind of the thought process to it. The person who said they would pay a little bit more of a premium on Class A, if you actually cash flow, that probably does make sense in a lot of scenarios. So good job thinking a little bit more outside of the box. You guys keep challenging yourselves, challenging each other, being responsive to each other, showing your work. And then eventually you guys are going to be able to do this off the top of your head with no thought. And it's going to be great. And it's going to really help transform your business. You'll be able to speak more confidently when you're making those offers. But hopefully this helped. If you guys like the multifamily math, then make sure you like and subscribe to this video and watch all the rest, because I'll keep posting the answers here. If you haven't joined our group yet and you want to be part of the community, it's a free group to join. Just look up Mastering Multifamily with Veena Jetti on Facebook. I'd love to have you there. Just answer all the questions to get into the group, and you'll love it. We do fun things like this. We do challenges, and it's just a really great community where we all help make each other better. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. This was Multifamily Math question number 3 for all of you guys following along. I'll see you next time.